it may have been the worst kept secret in politics. It looks like Joe Biden is finally about to declare he is running for presidency, possibly by next Wednesday. But here's a wake-up call for Democrats. Nearly half, 47% of the Democrat Party leans either moderate or conservative. That's according to a Gallup poll earlier this year. Let's bring in the CEO of the American Majority, Ned Ryan. Ned, your reaction to all this?
Well, I'm kind of surprised that people view Joe Biden as the great savior of the Democratic Party in 2020. Again, Liz, this would be his third presidential run. And his first two runs were really exercises in complete and utter mediocrity. In 1988, he stepped out of the race over charges of plagiarism. And in 2008, he won precisely 0 delegates. And that was back, Liz, when the Democratic Party could kind of make a claim to being semi-normal. And now that they've embraced socialism, I'm perplexed as to why people think Joe Biden can win, because let's not forget the grassroots, the small dollar donor base, and the grassroots activists of the Democratic Party are not centrist. They're far left.
Yeah, so you're going to, Ned, do you expect Joe Biden to play to the hard left and firing up the base there?
I think he's going to try. I mean, Liz, everybody inside the Democratic Party is trying to play to that far left base. I think the real problem that they're going to have is after months and months into the summer of 2020, call it about August of 2020, whoever wins that nomination after pledging fealty to all the far left crazy ideas, Medicare for all, universal basic income, Green New Deal, all of that, they're going to have to try and pivot in 90 days and try and convince the American people that somehow they're center left. I just don't see it happening. And I think their chances in 2020, they're in for a lot more trouble than I think they want to admit. Their great collusion conspiracy theory has fallen apart. They've got Joe Biden as their great savior. They've got the avowed socialist Bernie Sanders that's right there in the mix. And then the rest of the field really, quite frankly, are anything but political giants, Liz. I think they've got some serious issues.
Ned, I want to get your quick reaction to the next news cycle. It will likely be about the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz looking into the Steele dossier and to have the FBI use that to get a FISA warrant. Remember the IG's report on the Hillary Clinton probe by the FBI? Massive leaking, journalists too close to the FBI, journalists taking the FBI officials out to dinner, to golfing events, and more. So what do you expect from the IG report here? It's expected to come out in May or June.
Yeah, no, I think what we'll get, Liz, is confirmation that the FISA applications were falsified. They used the Steele dossier. McCabe testified to that under oath in December of 2017. Grassley and Graham both said they had 2 of the FISA applications based off the dossier. It is a crime to falsify FISA applications. So I think what it'll show is that crimes were committed. And let's not forget, I think AG Barr is going to move down this path of investigating the investigator. So not only will we have the FISA report, I think AG Barr is going to do his own investigating. And I think we need to look into Brennan and Clapper and Comey and McCabe and Sally Yates. I think they're going to be in some serious trouble if there's a full-throated investigation into their behavior.
Going forward, the individuals you just named, do you expect them to be more vocal or less vocal going forward into the news cycle?
It would be in their best interest, Liz, to be less vocal, but I don't expect that, especially with James Comey on Twitter and seeing some of Brennan's comments yesterday after the release of the Mueller report. But they're in serious trouble. I think they abuse the surveillance state and law enforcement. They've got some serious problems.
Ned Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it, sir.